The refinement of illusion. Ripple's new digital architecture. We observe a new architecture rising, one designed to streamline the flow of digital promises. Ripple presents a unified platform for stablecoin transactions, promising efficiency within the existing financial paradigm. But what does it mean to perfect the conduits for a currency that remains tethered to the very illusions we seek to transcend? We often mistake motion for progress, don't we? The relentless hum of innovation, the promise of seamless integration, all designed to make the world move faster. But faster towards what, exactly? Today, we turn our gaze to a significant development in the digital asset space, Ripple's expansion into what it terms end-to-end stablecoin infrastructure. It is presented as a singular solution, a consolidation of functions, custody, collections, settlement, all under one digital roof. The ambition is clear: to become the central nervous system for enterprise digital payments across 60 markets. But let us pause and consider the very foundation upon which this new architecture is built. The stablecoin. What is a stablecoin, truly? It is a digital echo of fiat currency, a promise tethered to a promise. It seeks stability not through inherent scarcity or unforgeable costliness, but through a peg to a national currency, a currency subject to the whims of central planners, to the endless expansion of credit, to the silent erosion of purchasing power. We are told it is stable, but stable relative to what? To a system designed for perpetual instability. The narrative speaks of efficiency, of simplifying complex processes. No longer, we are told, will businesses need to stitch together, separate vendors for custody, conversion, and settlement. Ripple aims to provide a single, integrated platform. And indeed, from a purely operational perspective, this appears to be a logical step. The consolidation of services, from managed custody to virtual account collections and fiat to stablecoin settlement, promises a smoother, more streamlined experience for businesses operating across borders. It is an undeniable improvement in the mechanics of digital finance, but efficiency in itself is a neutral force. A more efficient engine can drive us faster towards a precipice just as easily as it can carry us to new horizons. The question is not merely how efficiently money moves, but what kind of money is moving and whose control it remains under. This consolidation, while presented as a solution, reveals a deeper pattern. It is the centralization of control, the aggregation of power into fewer hands. We observe the absorption of entities like Palisade for custody and Rail for virtual account. These are not steps towards the dispersed knowledge and spontaneous order that true markets embody. Instead, they are the construction of a more robust, more encompassing central authority within the digital realm. It is a new form of gatekeeping, perhaps more elegant, but gatekeeping nonetheless. The very act of providing a single provider for end-to-end services inherently creates a single point of control, a single point of failure, and a single point of leverage. This stands in stark contrast to the decentralized ethos that birthed the very concept of digital assets as a path to freedom. Ludwig von Mises taught us that intervention breeds distortion, distortion breeds illusion, and illusion ultimately breeds collapse. When a single entity seeks to become the entire pipe, as the original observation suggests, it inherently introduces points of control, points of potential failure, and points where the natural, uncoerced flow of economic calculation can be manipulated. This is not the spontaneous coordination of free individuals. It is orchestrated efficiency within a predefined permission structure. The promise of seamless integration, while appealing, often comes at the cost of true autonomy and resilience. For every layer of complexity removed for the user, a layer of control is often added by the provider. But what if the very rigor they seek to emulate is the source of the problem, not the solution? The statement from Ripple's president, Monica Long, speaks volumes. For the global financial system to evolve, Fintechs and financial institutions need infrastructure that treats digital assets with the same rigor as traditional finance. We must ask ourselves, is traditional finance the benchmark we aspire to? Is it the pinnacle of economic freedom and sound money? Or is it the very system that has led to cycles of boom and bust, to the erosion of savings, to the endless expansion of debt, to the constant manipulation of interest rates and the money supply? To apply the rigor of a flawed system to a new digital layer is not evolution. It is merely a more sophisticated replication of the existing paradigm. It is like building a faster, more efficient carriage for a journey that is fundamentally misguided. The rigor of traditional finance often translates to layers of bureaucracy, permissioned access, and the implicit assumption of a central authority that can intervene and dictate terms. This is precisely what Bitcoin was designed to circumvent. We are presented with impressive figures, over $100 billion in processed volume. A testament, perhaps, to the operational capacity of the platform. But what does this number truly represent? It is the velocity of digital fiat, the speed at which promises are exchanged. It is not a measure of wealth creation in real terms, nor a reflection of sound economic calculation. It is merely the acceleration of transactions within a system that at its core remains tethered to the inflationary pressures of sovereign currency. The volume is high, but the value it represents is constantly being diluted by the very nature of the underlying assets. This volume speaks to the activity within the system, but not necessarily to its health or sustainability. It is the hum of a machine, but we must always question the purpose and the fuel of that machine. The broader context of stablecoin adoption, with global annual transaction volumes reaching $33 trillion and accounting for 30% of all on-chain activity, further illuminates this trend. It shows a clear demand for digital efficiency. Businesses and individuals alike seek faster, cheaper ways to move value across borders and within digital ecosystems. But this demand is largely driven by the need to navigate the existing fiat world with greater speed and lower friction, not to escape its fundamental flaw. It is a symptom of a system struggling to cope with its own inefficiencies, seeking digital bandages rather than a cure. Stablecoins offer a convenient bridge, but a bridge that leads back to the same unstable ground. They are a tool for the existing financial order to adapt, to digitize its operations, to maintain its grip in a rapidly changing technological landscape. They are not a revolution, but an evolution of control. And then we observe the curious disconnect. The XRP token, often associated with Ripple, experiencing price pressure amidst broader market shifts, while the payments business is said to operate largely independently of its token's price. This separation is telling. It reveals that the utility being sold to institutions is not necessarily tied to the decentralized, permissionless nature that true digital assets promise. Instead, it is a service, a managed solution, where the underlying token becomes almost an afterthought for the institutional user, a speculative instrument for others. This is not the spontaneous coordination of a truly free market. It is a corporate offering. The token, in this context, often serves as a speculative vehicle, detached from the core operational value proposition, highlighting the inherent tension between a centralized corporate strategy and the decentralized ideals that many associate with cryptocurrencies. But what if the true measure of a financial system isn't its speed, but its resistance to the very forces that seek to erode our freedom? Here we must draw a stark contrast. We speak of Bitcoin not as a mere cryptocurrency, but as the embodiment of sound money, of individual sovereignty, of decentralized knowledge. Bitcoin offers a solution not by refining the existing system, but by providing an alternative entirely. It is a system where scarcity is absolute, where credit expansion is limited by mathematical truth, where time preference is rewarded through real savings, not inflated promises. It is a system built on cryptography and consensus, not on corporate promises or central bank decrees. Its value is derived from its unforgeable costliness, its verifiability, and its absolute scarcity, principles that stand in direct opposition to the infinite elasticity of fiat currency and its digital derivative. While Ripple builds a more efficient conduit for fiat-pegged tokens, Bitcoin offers an escape from the fiat paradigm itself. It is the only true store of value, the only reliable cryptocurrency because its rules are immutable, its supply fixed, its network decentralized. It is the only true collateral because it is not a promise, but a proven reality, unburdened by counterparty risk or the whims of central authority. If it is not Bitcoin, we must apply informed criticism, for the path to true financial and economic freedom lies not in perfecting the old chains, but in forging new, unbreakable ones. The distinction is crucial. One seeks to optimize the existing system, the other seeks to replace it with something fundamentally different, built on principles of individual liberty and sound economics. True progress, we believe, is not found in making the existing system more palatable or efficient. It is found in recognizing its fundamental flaws and building something entirely new, something that respects the principles of human action and the inherent value of sound money. It is about empowering the individual, not merely streamlining the operations of institutions that perpetuate the monetary illusion. It is about shifting from a world of permissioned access and centralized control to one of open, permissionless participation, where value is truly owned, not merely held by proxy. You see, the choice before us is not between inefficient and efficient digital fiat. It is between the illusion of stability offered by centralized, fiat-pegged instruments and the immutable truth of a truly scarce decentralized monetary asset. One path leads to a more sophisticated version of the past, the other to a future built on genuine economic freedom. The path we choose will determine not just the speed of our transactions, but the very nature of our economic liberty. We are left to ponder, what does it truly mean to evolve a financial system? Is it to build faster rivers for the same diluted waters, or to seek the pure, unadulterated spring from which all true value flows? Perhaps the answer lies not in what we are told, but in what we choose to observe for ourselves. We are block sonic. We don't predict the market. We read its memory. Never forget, Bitcoin is only yours in your cold wallet.